Everyone, Chris here from the ASP, and today we're going to be looking at military accoutrements, belongings, and a brief overview of the Philippine Scouts during World War II. Now obviously, as you can see, I'm a reenactor. I'm dressed in somewhat period correct clothing. I do have a script that I do follow. I just want to organize my thoughts in such a good way where I don't ramble on. So, like I said, I'm a reenactor. I portray as a sergeant in the 45th Infantry Regiment of the Philippine Scouts, Company C. My role is the rifle squad leader. My squad consists of 12 men. Within the squad, I have an assistant squad leader, 2 scouts, 7 riflemen, and 1 BAR rifleman. Now, let's get off to the uniform. So first, this is their service uniform that they wore. Let me get a good standing shot. Front, side, back, side, and front. So, from what you saw, that's the standing shot of their uniform. Now, their uniform, it's all khaki cotton material. This khaki uniform shirt and pants are a representation of what they wore. In addition to the khaki uniform shirt, they also wore the M1937 OD flannel shirt, and you can see in some pictures that they're wearing the OD shirt in the field. Unfortunately, I don't have one in my collection. It's soon to be, soon. And I don't have one as of now. Now the undergarments they wore would be a white camiseta or a white crew t-shirt and white undershorts. They used a cotton web belt with a brass buckle. They also wore the U.S. Army leggings for their ankles and calves. I saw in the standing shot the leggings. They were also issued the khaki garrison caps or overseas hat when worn off post. Now, the one I'm wearing is a plain repo or reproduction overseas hat, but an original khaki overseas hat with blue trimming is on my list to collect. Now, the blue trimming signifies infantry. If I'm not mistaken, red trimming or red piping on an overseas cap or even a campaign hat signifies artillery. And for one thing I don't have yet in my collection is a campaign hat. The campaign hat was worn when you're not wearing the helmet. But I do have right here the M1917 A1 Kelly helmet, the successor of the Brody helmet and a predecessor of the M1 steel pot helmet. Let's take a closer look into this. Alright, here's a closer look of the M1917 A1 Kelly helmet with its original liner to the side. Like I said, this is the successor to the Brody helmet and predecessor to the M1 steel pot. The original liner. It's leather and it's really worn out. I needed it to be replaced. Let's look on the other side of the helmet. Now this is a reproduction liner from the Prairie Flower Company, and I give them a thumbs up for providing a reproduction liner. So thumbs way up to them. Now, on the Kelly helmet, I don't know if you can see, right there is the serial number. Zulu Charlie 24. That's the serial number. And these are the helmets that the Scouts used during early World War II. They weren't given the M1 steel pots because the M1 steel pots weren't made early in World War II. Alright, let's continue off. Okay, so the Philippine Scouts during World War II had a sufficient small arms consisting of the M1903 Springfield rifles, M1 Garand or Garand rifles, M1917 .45 revolvers, Winchester 1897 shotguns, Browning automatic rifles, Thompson submachine guns, and Colt Knight 11s. However, what they lacked were enough anti-tank guns, grenades, and mortars, and reliable ammunition for them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut small pieces of video, of old video that I've taken in regards to some of these weapons that they used.
Here we go, baby.
Ready? I'm not going to pursue.
Yeah, this guy.
I only put 2 rounds.
That's the alcohol.
Oh, throw it not bad. Not bad.
Little low, Matt, little low.
Yeah, everybody, because of the ring, just work at your own speed.
Low.
Yeah, something like that. Because of the ring, just work at your own speed. I'm about 4 o'clock off the big one. On one of the little ones.
That's better.
Got him?
So first couple see dirt low. You see the dirt below there.
It's not that one seagull flying?
No. There you go, Chris. Lean into it. Lean into it a little bit. There you go. Don't worry about that. Yes. Easy, Matty. Come on.
Just to let you know, if there's enough food,
This is
and
hot.
the guys already
Oh,
started
hell yeah.
shooting pistols, so you go out to the pistol. You can eat.
It'd be gone.
No, when we saw all the people showing up, I sent them out for a lot more food. I would rather throw food out than short people. So.
5.
Like you and I got shortchanged.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Although one time I ended up with sauerkraut on a bun.
Yeah.
Call of Duty style.
Yeah. Beans, our problem right now is this can opener. Last time we they had no can opener. So we went and we bought 2. Left one, used one. We come back this time, the one we left is gone. The one that we bought for some reason. You know what? It was a good gun, but in 1912, when the Model 12 came, that should have been dropped. But it went another 40 years because people kept buying it.
It's a good gun. It was a good gun, so I figured what
People
the hell.
kept buying it, even though the Model 12 was superior to it in so many ways.
And then the 1300 came along and forget it. I got it too, a 20 and a 12. I love it.
Well, the 870 took away a lot of the police market because
Yeah.
the dual action bars gave it a much smoother operation.
You know which one I like? The Ithacus.
I broke mine, my Ithaca.
I got mine.
Mine's Parkerized with an. It was made in 1972, and theoretically the government didn't buy any then, so I don't know what the story is.
You know it's fucking hot.
Oh, I needed a drink. I was just.
Alright, we're clear. Alright, now besides firearms, the Philippine Scouts specialized in the use of the bolo knife. This is an authentic bolo knife that has been refinished with new grips. And the smooth blade based upon the previous owner. In addition, I got a scabbard for the bolo knife right here. It has been customized with my name on the side. Now, there are pictures of the Scouts using the bolo knife, either U.S. Army issued, bought on their own accord, or passed down in the family. Now, the bolo knife was used as an agricultural tool to cut down thick brush. The Philippine bolo was a common farming tool in the Philippines, but it has been used as a weapon for self-defense in dire times. Much like, for example, the 369th Infantry Regiment, the Harlem Hellfighters, Private Johnson used a bolo to cut down incoming Germans when he was, him and another compatriot of his were front line on a listening post at night. There is a Filipino martial art that uses the bolo called arnes. Quick fact was that during World War II, the 1st Filipino Regiment of the U.S. Army in the Philippines held the distinction of being called the Bolo Battalion. Information about this fact is in the description box below. Another quick fact was that the 26th Cavalry Unit, they were issued the 1915 Bolo bayonet according to a 26th Cavalry veteran. Now, in addition to the bolo knife, the Scouts were also issued the Springfield 03 rifle with a bayonet, front sight cover sling, and buttstock load. Here's an example of an authentic Springfield bayonet. If you want to learn more about this type of bayonet, then please watch my bayonet video here. Right here. Stan pretty much covers the Springfield bayonets and the history of them. Springfield Armory, right here, 1908. This is what they were given. Or actually, this is what they were issued. On top of that, this is a scabbard for the bayonet. Like so. Now this bayonet does fit the M1 Garand rifle, and we'll get that to it in a second. What we have here on display are the belongings of the Philippine Scouts. This is a display that I've created, and this is the display that I will show at gatherings and military shows. So let's get to it. What we have here is the haversack. Now, the Scouts, they were given a lot of World War I stuff. And this is directly from, basically, World War I. Here is their entrenching tool. Not a shovel, an entrenching tool. Inside is a blanket. Inside here is your mess kit with fork, knife, and spoon. Attached to it is your rifle cartridge belt. And on the rifle cartridge belt, of course, you have your canteen with cover. like so, and your first aid pouch. Now this is a World War I first aid pouch. You can tell by the buttons here. Later on during the Second World War, they would have a lift the dot buttons instead of these type of buttons. As you can see, it's dated 1918. And within here is a first aid packet. And look at that. Issued or contract November 2nd, 1916. 100 years. Amazing, isn't it? Now, I don't wear this cartridge belt because it's original and I don't like to wear it out. This is mainly for display. Next to the haversack and the cartridge belt is the musette bag. Again, authentic, has US on it. Holds whatever things you want, map or other belongings, like so. And this can be attached to your haversack, I believe. Or this can be, well, most likely this can be worn over your shoulder. Below here are a bunch of bandoliers. Bandoliers for ammo. Clips, basically. Either for your M1 Garand rifle or for your Springfield rifle. But hey, because the thing is, you need a lot of ammo in the field. These right here, these two, are specifically for the M1 Garand rifle. These here, these three are for the Springfield rifle because, as you can see, within these bandoliers, holds 10 rounds. Put them in a stripper clip because you need a lot of ammo and a lot of firepower in the field if you're going to have to repel an invading force. Alright, next to the bandoliers is a pistol holster for the Colt 1911. And right on it is a pistol web belt. I have yet to collect a 1911 45 mag pouch. That's on my list to get. Above are examples of grenades. These are inert, they're not real. Beginning of the war, the pineapple grenades or the grenades that the U.S. Armed Forces were issued were painted yellow. However, in the field, in the jungles of the Philippines, these stick out, so they then were painted green. Like I said, these are inert and are basically a representation of the grenades they used. They are not authentic, especially this one. This one's not authentic. Has RFX on the side. But it's a representation. Next to it is the basic field manual, Soldier's Handbook. It's dated 1941. This has a lot of useful information of basically the gear and field equipment that the U.S. Army used. So I get this. If you're going into collecting and researching, get this book. Above it is, of course, the Philippine War Diary. Still reading up on it. Now, below here is another bandolier, but for the N1M block clips. Fits in like so. Like that. course, right here are M1 Garand and block clips. This one's an empty one. These are filled with spent 30-06 shells. I use these for display. I don't like to bring real ammunition at shows. Of course, on the side is my M1 Garand or Garand rifle, whatever you want to say. Garand, Garand, tomato, tomato. Everyone calls it Garand rifle. This one's a Springfield Armory. Serial number in 2 million. It's unloaded. It's kind of difficult doing this in one hand. Chamber's clear. There's no ammo inside anyways. It's a beautiful rifle. Zeroed it for 100 yards. I love it. Of course, spoke about the M1917A1 killer helmet, the Springfield bayonets, and the bolo knife. And onto the side, this is what I would have on display, because when normal people look at this, oh, it looks like World War I. Correction, early World War II, the Philippine Scouts. That's the Carabao, the gold Carabao. Of course, the 26th Cavalry Unit, Cavalry Regiment, Captain John Wheeler, as you can read. Established 1901, disbanded in 1948. These are engineers preparing sections for a pontoon bridge. And here's an interesting picture. Bolo drill, Philippine Scouts. And you can see the Scouts training with the bolo knife. And on the ground are actually Krag rifles. Those are Krag rifles. Now, the information here, History of the Philippine Scouts, is by Colonel John E. Olson. I got it from the Philippine Scouts Heritage Organization. I'll have a link to them in the description box below. So, yep, this is my display that I show at military shows and gatherings. Alright, so Stan has covered much of the Philippine Scouts history in his presentation. This video is a continuation to his presentation. Now, I have a working knowledge about the history of the Philippine Scouts. From what I know, the 26th Cavalry Unit of the Scouts led the last successful cavalry charge on horseback against the invading Japanese. The 91st and 92nd Artillery units of the Scouts were the last ones to surrender on the island of Corregidor to the Japanese. After the fall of the Philippines, many Scouts fled to the jungles to fight as guerrillas, yet many others were interned as POWs. The Philippine Scouts were an elite infantry, cavalry, and artillery unit the Philippines had. They did put up a tough fight and a defense against the invading Japanese imperial forces. If the Philippines and General MacArthur were given more time and resources, the Japanese would have had a difficult time invading the Philippines. Now, I still have much to learn and research in regards to the Scouts. Much of their history can be found in books and through the Philippine Scouts Heritage Organization. A link to the organization can be found in the description box below. However, the Scouts' history is more profound and etched in surviving members whom are sadly fading away, as General MacArthur once said. Just to go off a little bit off a tangent, my favorite miniseries on HBO is The Band of Brothers. Major Richard Winters, legend, the 101st Airborne, sadly he passed away in 2011. Same thing with Sergeant Gardner, who passed away in 2014. Veterans during World War II, they're fading away. Their legacy, their profound actions in the field are sadly going away. Right now it's 2016, going to be 2017. So we got to learn from our history, because those who don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it. But I'm going to go back right now. So this is what I have thus far for the Philippine Scouts. I'm a reenactor, I'm a collector, and I'm a researcher in history. So I still have yet to get a few more belongings, such as the OD the M1937 OD flannel shirt. That's on my list to collect, amongst other small stuff that I want to collect as well. That's pretty much it. This is what I have thus far. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then please subscribe for more interesting content, and stay tuned for more ASB videos. Thanks for watching. I'm not good at speaking in front of a camera or towards an audience. I suck at it. I really do. Alright. So I have a script here.